minutes on any horse extremely easily, and the horse can either still be very, very tense back, or he can be very, very hollow backed, and he can still have all of his weight on the forehand. It has nothing to do with collection. Most of the time we think of the neck as a prerequisite to collection. We try to round the neck and flex the pole and say, oh, my horse is able to collect himself now. It's actually the exact opposite. When you round the neck and flex the pole, the horse can't collect. He can't. He physically can't. Here's why. When we round this neck, we're stretching this ligament. Especially if we hyperextend it, we're stretching this ligament. If this ligament is fully stretched out like a rubber band, these legs cannot reach further under. It's tense. If we stretch this out to the next, in order for these legs to come under, it has to stretch it further. That's why it breaks. Because we've stretched it so far by hyperextending them, and then we ask them to dig deeper with their legs, and eventually it snaps. It just breaks. So in order for the hind legs to reach under, which shifts the weight backwards and gives us our rebalancing or collection, we actually have to forget this exists. We have to let it go. We have to get rid of our control of the neck and the pole so that they can establish their own balance. Now what you'll find is, as the horse reestablishes balance, and the further his hindquarters reaches underneath himself, kind of, if you think about it, dressage, here we go. Neither dressage. Okay, so, if this is the horse here, oh, you're okay. If this is the horse here, the further the hindquarter comes under, what happens to the front? It raises up. So, it's not that we curl the front and the hindquarter comes under, it's the exact opposite. As the hindquarter comes under, the front naturally comes up and breaks over, and the neck rounds and the foal flexes by itself. You don't have to ask for it. It comes. It's there because the rest of the body is working. The beautiful neck and the roundness of the neck and the flexion of the pole is a product of the horse's collection, not a prerequisite. It doesn't happen first. It's the last thing that happens. So most of horsemanship spends so much time up here that they completely forget the rest of the horse, yet the rest of the horse is what creates this in a realistic way. If the rest of the horse is there and the hindquarter is underneath and the back is lifted and you've connected the two parts, you've turned a Mack truck into a sports car. And you have something that can move effectively, it can move comfortably, and it can balance your weight better so the horse has a longer span of time before it breaks down. This is the reason that we see in most of our disciplines, performance disciplines, that the horses are breaking down before the age of 10. Reiners, you see them 8, 9 years old getting injections if they can even still walk. Dressage horses, still 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, they're already starting to get injections into their back and into their hocks. Now, a couple hundred years ago, during the times of the great dressage masters, this was never heard of. It never happened. The horses were able to perform and work and go into battle late into their 20s, sometimes into their 30s. Why? Why is that happening? Why is it happening now that our horses are breaking down so early and that they have to be injected? Why is it happening? It's because all of that focus has shifted to getting the picture of a collected horse quickly without the actual collection. It's not there. So when you're riding horses, when you're working on your horses, keep that in mind. If you guys don't get anything else this weekend, keep in mind what you can learn about how your horse body works and keeping the integrity of the horse's body at the forefront of training. If we throw the integrity of the horse's body away, you wind up with a horse like my personal horse, Colt. My personal horse, Colt, I've had him since he's a yearling. He's a 7-year-old. I spent about 4 or 5 years, teaching him a lot of wonderful things, but I also taught him a lot of bad things. And his body is suffering for it. He probably will be broken down, and I probably will have to get injections in him later on in his life. That's stuff that I've created. That's a good horse. He's a well-bred, good horse. And he should be able to work and rein into his 20s, but he's not going to make it because of what I did. And I have to live with that. So, if there's anything that I can do the most to you guys, it's help point you in the direction to say, forget about all this. Forget about the pretty picture. You'll get it when the rest of the body is working correctly. So when we work today and we work tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on the rest of the body. We'll get the softness, we'll get the flexion, and I'll teach you how to start to flex the pole around the neck. But I don't want you to play with that much, because the important part is the back, the hips, the shoulders, the body working correctly, and the shifting of the balance. And you'll have a much happier horse because he's able to move without discomfort or pain. You'll have a much more mobile horse because he'll actually be able to move right. And your horse will be nice and calm and working with you because there's no pain involved. Okay, second.